Yeah, no, awesome. So we can really show you that. And definitely we can even show you some sales tools we've put in, kind of remind your guys to do the upsells, cross sells, that kind of stuff in the field, and possibly raise your average ticket price, in the process. So, yeah. Yeah, no, well, great. Yeah, get logged in that link there. We'll jump right in. We'll really take a look at all this stuff. Like I said, first we'll get the iPad up on the screen. We'll look at everything first, like as your tech, as your customer is going to see it in the field, and then we'll jump in the web portal, and possibly more important to you, see how we're going to manage it. How easy is it to change the hourly bill out rate, to change the picture, to change, what upsell or cross sell comes up when they add something to an invoice. So we'll kind of jump through and take a look at all that stuff. We'll do questions and just kind of walk through and see what you guys think about it. You may have to download it, yeah, if you've never used Zoom before, it's possible. And Dustin, where are you located out there, buddy? Oh, I see it here, Texas. Okay. Actually have an idea about where you are. All right, Justin. Now you can check your computer if you want to do the audio through there, or we can stay on the phone. They're both exactly the same to me, so really whatever is easiest for you, but we can do.
So, all right, I don't know if this is working.
Yep, I can tell you it's working right now. I'm going to hang the phone up. I can hear the echo.
Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. You can still hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Great. Perfect. Let me get this iPad up. So I assume you can see my screen as well, the Profit Rhino on one side, the agenda on the other here?
Yes.
Excellent. So this is kind of just a roadmap, what we like to hit as we run through this stuff. Pain points we did as we're getting logged in here. Introduction we've also already done. So let's really just kind of jump right into it. Again, this is going to be my iPad up here, maybe. All right. Let me just reset this real quick. And again, look at everything as your tech. Your customer is going to see it as we're coming through here. But if you have any questions, please just stop me as we're looking at it. Always the best time to address those questions. When we're looking at it, when you have those questions, don't feel like you're interrupting or being rude, anything like that. Don't hurt my feelings at all. So again, just a regular old iPad here. Our app is the little smiling rhino with the tablet here. If we jump in, get to your home screen. Not really a ton for us to check out on the home screen. Obviously, we'll have this branded with your logo, as well as the color scheme. Whatever you guys have as far as colors for your marketing, we can change the Pantones here. The only other thing to really note is your hotkeys. You're going to see the price book, the work order builder, the option builder, and then your customer key. These are the ones you're going to use all the time. You're going to notice that the images coincide up here. These are always going to stay with us, so we can always jump to the stuff quickly. Red dot is simply where I'm touching, just to kind of help you follow along a little bit. So this is the home screen of Profit Rhino. I know you've taken a look at it before, so you probably know, images are something big here with us. You will find over 3,300 custom images in the book, and about 10,000 different spots here. The other big thing with this part of the book is when you make a purchase, you will get all these trades. So we can turn the books off, but if somewhere down the road you guys go into the HVAC business, open a division, we have the stuff for you guys. Again, in the
So
meantime,
does the price change at that point?
no, the price
Okay.
is the same whether you take one or basically get everything or get nothing for one price. So again, what we'll do is turn off all this stuff, your electrical, your installs, turn it off. The easier, the cleaner we can make this view for your guys, the faster they work through it, the less chance they make a mistake, and that leads to an easier day for you, a better experience for the customer, and everybody wins. So we'll see that more as we go through here, but you can completely customize this view. You have 100% control of what they see and how they see it. So we have the plumbing book here. If we jump in any book, they're all really set up the same to ask a few quick questions to get to the job you need. So the first obvious question, what part of the house are we going into? Kitchen, bath, laundry. We do have your line work. We also have a pool book here. You guys maybe do some pool work down there. Commercial, keep in mind, this is just going to have like urinals, water fountains, handicap rails, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Probably the bath, one of the most common places you guys go here. And then what are you doing in that bathroom? If you go in, you're going to do something either with the sink fixture, the toilet. So we have the new and the rebuilds and then the connections here. If we go in the bath faucet new, this is where the images really start to take over and own the book. If you need, several different kinds of fixtures, derivators, shower heads, again, super easy for you guys to find this stuff. Of course, your customers love it if they're able to see the images because that's all they really care about when it comes to a fixture. So again, just a really simple way we can update these images, set this up really easy for you guys. Something else we didn't talk about, Dustin, was service agreements. Are you guys doing any kind of service agreement program, planned maintenance program,
We're,
anything
we're,
along those lines?
we're not currently, but from, what I'm understanding in talking with, people is, that's likely somewhere where we'll be headed. So I'm thinking that that's going to be a plus. So.
Excellent. So you see here, it seems a little innocuous. Obviously, we're letting them know what they save, but we're doing more than that here. We're going to put this everywhere we go, and we're trying to get the customer to start this conversation. You've been out there on the road. If a customer brings something up to you, your chances of selling that are way higher than if you're trying to give them a cold, hard sales pitch to buy something. So we want to put this everywhere we can and get Mrs. Jones to ask us, how am I going to save $108 today? Let her open the door, you kick it down, and sell your, service agreement, plan maintenance program, whatever you guys have here. So you'll see that really come everywhere with us. If we jump in one of these tasks, first thing you notice is the image. Any image can be touched and go full screen. To the right, we have what we call a tech description. Obviously, we need some kind of description. Make sure your guys are grabbing the right thing. You'll notice everything was labeled lavatory or bidet. That's simply so when you guys sign up, we can go in and easily change lavatory to Delta Moen, whatever you guys are, and rebrand the line quickly for you guys. Second line here is always, that's what we're going to call a secondary description, and it's meant to tell your tech a little bit more about this job. If he needs to know something a little extra about what's going on here, if you have something included or something excluded, if this faucet, again, can be 1 or 2 handle, just letting the tech know a little bit more what he needs to know here. And then the last paragraph is always the customer description, and it's truly that. It's what the customer cares about. The look, the finish, the design, why it wears out, why you have to replace it. Again, things the customer cares about, not really us or the tech. 2 levels of pricing, we talked about that. And then down here is probably one of the more important things. This is the MPT. This stands for minutes per task. Every job here has a time assigned to it. We still have an hourly bill out rate in the back. We have a standard chart where we're marking up all of our parts, and we're still truly doing a time and material makeup in the background. Just we're doing that. We're getting that price of $388, and then we're pushing it out to the tablet and saying, here's your flat rate. So really, we're still, again, kind of doing an old school pricing. We're just pushing it out here to the customer in more of a pleasurable way here. Always like to kind of just quick pause at this point and just see if there's any questions, comments, on any of this stuff so far.
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Also, another thing, if I get talking too fast, just slow me down. I'm a New York guy, so I'm a fast talker. So don't worry. I don't feel bad if I get going too fast here. Next thing is the view recommended button. This is also going to happen if you ever add this to an invoice. Same exact thing. Hit this button, you're going to see your recommended services. I always like to say this is the Amazon selling method. You know, people who bought this also bought this, this, and this. Same thing here. This pop-up's going to come up. Your text should offer these to the customers, upsells. The only way they really can't is to exit out and truly choose not to do it. So, you know, you'll be able to tell if these guys are selling these extra things or not, and, you know, really see who's making the effort and who's not.
So you said that's going to pop up, you know, at a certain point, it'll pop up on them. They don't have to trigger that.
Correct. Once if they try and add this to an invoice, and let's just show you real quick. I just need to add a customer to the job here real quick. I always have to have a customer attached to start a work order. So if we come in here, now you can see I'm going to add this to the work order or your invoice. You know, we call it a work order. He's going to get this prompt. Before he can move on and do anything else, he's got to either offer this or not offer it. So
Awesome.
That's how it's going to come up. And again, you know, make sure these guys are doing it. Remind them sometimes. And, you know, if we don't make this easy on these guys, chances are probably not going to get done out there as far as salesmanship. So down at the bottom here is also the second part, our common alternatives. Everybody knows people love choices. So all your guy has to do is scroll down literally a 16th of a page and tilt the tablet to the customer, Mrs. Jones. We also have some nice options as well for your repair here. All you have to do is touch these. We can jump in, look at the full screen. And then you'll notice down here, we don't ever give them the option to walk down into something cheaper. We're always trying to let them know that they can buy something nicer here. If you need to go back, just your back button will take you back. So again, the sales is extremely simple when we're doing this. Really absolutely no excuse not to be offering that stuff as simple as we make it for them here. Again, want to pause for questions. If not, I'd like to run it right through a text scenario from the time you walk in the door to the time you leave and show you just, you know, how that's going to flow.
Okay, yeah. When you went back to that other screen, it reminded me. I was wondering about the adding HVAC in the future. That is something that I'm always interested in. So you said it's not an extra monthly cost, but what about if we don't set it up in the beginning, but later on we want to add it, and we need will we need assistance with that? And if we need assistance, will it cost us any more?
No, that's a great question. We're kind of jumping ahead of ourselves, but let's address that right now. If you guys decide to go with us, we do what we call a success program with you guys. Lack of a better word, it's, you know, kind of a hand-holding process between both companies to make sure this is a custom book for Choice Plumbers, not just the standard book that we give to everybody else. Customization for all books is included in this. There is a cost for this. It's $1,299. That does include, if you open an HVAC division next year, call us. We'll put you back in here and do, you know, this series of meetings to set that book up. Obviously, we don't got to run it from top to bottom, but short answer to your question is absolutely yes. If you open that division in 6 months, 2 years, as long as you're still customers with us, we'll pull you guys in, help you set that up. That's all included in that one-time upfront of $1,299 to build the book for you guys.
Okay, great.
Perfect. So let's jump back to the tablet here. All right. So let's go and again walk it through a text scenario here. Go to the clipboard. This is always going to be your home screen. Always jump you back to the home here. You said earlier you guys had messed with dispatch fees, without dispatch fees. Depending how you guys want to do it, we can pull the dispatch fees right from here. So we go here. This is what we call the hotkey. Basically, dispatch fees, service agreements, labor adder has all your, you know, if you have to open up a wall, if you have to dig a trench, that kind of stuff. We have line items for all that stuff here. So I always go to the diagnosis. We can do as many or as few levels as we want. A lot of times you can do different levels depending on how far you have to go, the difficulty of the diagnosis kind of thing. And then we get a signature here. A little bit different than anybody else. Really, A, to make sure you guys can collect on this, and B, you know, we're going to get them involved with this pricing. It's going to be kind of new to them to give them options and choices and all this stuff. So we just have them sign the tablet, kind of warm up to the experience. Now, again, if you want to go ahead and waive this, if they do the job, we can delete this. What I suggest doing, if that's something you guys consider, is creating a second task to put in here that takes the $59.99 off. Sorry about that. Just because people like to see the money come off. You know what I'm saying? If you're ever going to refund that, always create a separate task so they see the charge and then see the refund.
Okay.
Next thing you're going to do here is, if we go out, you're going to diagnose the problem. Let's just say it's a faucet, since we just looked at one. Now we have two options to price this. We can do what we did, go into the book and go to plumbing. bath faucet new, pull the faucets out and show them, or we can just have pre-built options of good, better, best menu pricing to show the customer here and let them choose what they want for the repair. We can do those options here with the 1, 2, 3. Now we do have the choice to actually build this from scratch right now if this is a difficult job or something kind of off the wall. If it's your standard bathroom fixture replacement, we can go right here. We have this pre-built already, go into plumbing, bath faucet new, and again, we have 3 choices for the customer pre-built. All your tech now has to do is go in here, hit this guy, do a summary of findings, whatever you guys do as far as a upfield process. Obviously, you can type voice to text will also work here, so your guys can dictate this. Obviously, always read that is the #1 rule of voice to text before you show it to your customer. And then last you want to do is go to what looks like an eyeball here, and this now changes this into a branded PDF quote for the customer. Your first page here is going to have your logo, your information, summary of findings will be here, and then just a very brief summary. We call this just the cover page, but we're always going to hit them with those service agreement discounts, the bundle savings, to what we call climb the ladder and get them up into these higher options. If we scroll to the next page, you can see the image and full description is going to be included for every item included with each task. Now this, as you can see, is emailed or printed directly from the tablet to the customer, as well as, of course, this is a cloud-based system, so all this is going to go ahead and go to the cloud. You guys can access this from the office in real time. You can have techs out in the field showing this to a customer. You can look at that at your desk while he's still in the customer's home. So really neat. That's going to work. Obviously, connection is necessary for that kind of thing. But again, that's really going to help you guys manage the day-to-day operations a lot better. You'll get a really good view of exactly what's going on throughout the day. All right, so after this, they're going to go ahead and make a choice. Eli Manning's got the money. He'll take the most expensive one here. We'll jump back in, and this is where now we can talk about service agreements. All we have to do is simply touch this to change the price. If they have one, we just touch it. If we want to sell one, we can pull them right from this hotkey and pull that service agreement in here and put that right on the work order for them. Next thing we're going to do here is your taxes. Now this, let me open this up a little bit here, Dustin. This, depending on how your taxes are charged in your local area, some places the taxes vary depending on what side of the street, town, county you're on. Some places are the same. So we can do it individually per job. If they're the same for you on every job, we can set it in the back and then your guys never have to worry about it. We can also make this job tax exempt. And then down here, we can do any discounts by dollar amount, by percentage amounts. Also, fair to note, this is the only place in the entire system the tech can apply any sort of discount to a job. So specifically, obviously set up that way so you guys can track it and see that easier, what kind of discounts, what kind of stuff these guys are giving. They have no ability to change any other price besides dollar amount or percentage here. Next thing is finance, and this is something we didn't talk about, Dustin. Do you guys ever do any of that third-party financing?
We're currently partnered with Synchrony.
Synchrony, awesome. Yeah. So when you signed up for Synchrony, they gave you a web address where a customer can go apply for financing through Choice Plumbers. We're going to take that one step further. We take the web address, put it in the online portal here, and mine's connected to Pacer, one of their competitors, but again, it's just a website jump, and this will jump right to your landing page for Synchrony, allow the customer to apply for that financing, get approved for that financing, and sign off for that job, all while you stand right there in the living room. Almost will allow people to impulse buy tankless hot water heaters and some of your expensive high profit stuff right there in the home. So really cool. And again, just a copy and paste of whatever URL you want to put in there. So really neat. Another thing is we can set this up to only show up at certain times. If you want it to only show up on, like I said, new water heaters, or only show up if an invoice goes over $3,000, we can set that up any way you want so it only shows up when necessary. Obviously, we don't want to start getting in the habit of financing, a bunch of jobs under $1,000. Next thing we'll do is get an approval signature to start the job. When the job's finished, everyone's happy. We're going to get an acceptance signature here that the work is done. Again, everyone's happy. And now it's time to do the most important thing of the job, take the payment. So if we jump in here, cash payment, we can apply full or partial balance, save it, check, do the same thing with the check number, and then the credit card. We do work with a sister company of ours called PaySimple. As you can see here, it's going to jump out into the PaySimple app. It'll do this seamlessly. They'll send you a swiper. You swipe the card. It's going to take the payment, post it to Profit Rhino, seamlessly jump you back in the Profit Rhino app. You can still use whatever apps you're using now, Square, PayPal, QuickBooks, whatever it is. You will have to go into their app, take the payment, come in here and mark it paid. So just be aware of that. And then lastly, we always hit save just so we can hit this email and save, and this is going to email this invoice directly to the customer as well. Also, if you would like to present the final invoice on the tablet, if you go back to the eyeball now, we can go first page, second page, third page is now that custom invoice. Again, your information, your logo, billing address, service address, tech that went, date, images, descriptions. Down here, we're going to highlight any discounts or payments. Your logo here is just a PDF, so you can change this at your leisure if you want to advertise specials you have going on, things going on coming up that you're doing. I've seen some companies actually sell this to some local restaurants and things and put coupons on here, an additional way to get a little revenue. And then down here, any acknowledgments or addendums, anything you guys want to do here as well. Again, emailed, obviously printed directly from the tablet to the customer. So that's really what we're looking at, again, as far as a field process and kind of a basic look over the book. Any questions, comments, anything you want to go back and look at, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was trying to keep up a little bit there and I think I forgot some of them, but the bundle, I think was one of them. I think you mentioned a bundle discount. How does that show up, or how was that determined, I guess? Like, so it seemed to be the easiest process is when they chose a faucet, it recommended the bundle, and it was a bundle savings, I guess.
Yep.
So how does that, where do you see that savings of where they were line itemed out separately and how much, how they saw that, I guess?
Absolutely, and they're going to sell it like this. It's not going to be line item out separately. With the flat rate, we're bundling all this into one task. But where you're getting this savings from is every task has extra time built in. So you're charging for the time you're at the house, not just the time you're turning your wrench. After we sell more than one product, we don't need to charge that extra time on the second, third, fourth, fifth product. So
That's like an add-on rate.
Exactly. That's exactly what we call them as an add-on. So that's where these savings are coming from. As we're adding these different things, we're making these extra products add-ons. That's where the savings is coming from. So if you're going to stop 3 times and put these 3 things in, it's going to cost you $345 more than for me to do them all today. So that's where that savings is coming from. And let's just jump back on the tablet. I'll show you where we can kind of see that here. If we go into just go back to that same faucet. So here's the regular faucet. The first thing goes on. Down here, this toggle will always change these to add-ons. If you look at the task number and the price, it's going to start with a T or an A, task or add-on, and then basically that's taking that extra labor time off. And then when we're adding this to the work order, when these come up, oh, my tablet's, oh, there it goes. When these come up, you can see they'll automatically always come up as add-ons, not tasks. So these always come up at that reduced price. You can change that with this tab up here and turn these back to the tasks. Also, this tab makes it really nice to sell. When you're standing there in front of the customer, Dustin, you say, Mrs. Jones, I really recommend we do a shut-off. If I have to come back in 2 months and do it, it's $409. If you want me to do it today, it's only $259 since I'm already here. The tools are open. So the customers being able to kind of see that also really kind of motivates them to make that purchase. They can see the real value in that.
Okay.
Cool. What else did you have?
I think the currently we're billing through Service Fusion, our management app. So I guess when you mentioned credit card payments, I was trying to wrap my head around that. So, if we run any credit card payments through them, it has to be through their partner, I guess, Cayenne. And so how would that work in this case if we were still using Service Fusion with your app?
Basically, at this point, you'll have 2 choices. You can take the payments inside of our app. We'll see in the web portal. I assume you use QuickBooks?
Yes.
Perfect. So we can take all that payments. We can move all that stuff from Profit Rhino right into QuickBooks very easily for you guys. Or some customers prefer to use bill through Service Fusion and Cayenne still. So at that point, they'll take this invoice total, whatever it was here, the 1905.76. At this point, they'll put this back in Service Fusion and take the payment for the customer inside of Service Fusion. And then you'll move everything from Service Fusion. Just depends how you guys want to do it. Again, we have the full capability of taking the payment, moving all that to QuickBooks for you. Some people prefer to run them back through Service Fusion. If you want to do that, there is going to be some sort of a double touch, here to obviously get that information back into Service Fusion.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to, of course, we'd have to think about that a little bit more. But my first, we're just now starting to try to use their reporting that they offer that. So right now, I guess the benefits we use with them are the scheduling and so that we've linked up with the QuickBooks. So we have our customers in there, and then we schedule through them. And so we actually, I think we track our trucks through them. And so then there's some reporting aspects to that. So I guess if we're not running these jobs through there, then I'm trying to figure out where that, is going to hinder us or not. So.
And if you want to do that, if you want to run that and do the tracking, have them check in, check out everything when they're doing their Service Fusion. This is Service Titan app, but they'll just have to jump in our app and come in and do the pricing then and send it to the customer. I would still recommend loading the customer database, because when you look in the back, you'll see we'll save all these invoices. Just when we hit the eyeball and looked at those PDFs, all that's instantly saved to the cloud, so you guys can access that here. But again, you're going to have to jump back and forth at some point if you want to move that invoicing and billing information back into Service Fusion.
And so, another question for us and our company is, at what point would we want to make a switch to another management software, Service Titan being one of them? How's the process different? Is it linked better if we did switch?
Sure. You said the word. Let's jump in and take a quick look.
And is the price difference?
Yes, there's a bit of a price difference. We can go over that as well. I'm just going to jump in here. Now, what we can do, we can take this with some of these big ones and move the price book inside of the FSM. We can jump inside, and this is Service Titan's app. You saw me log in. Things are going to look very familiar to us. These are upsells, cross sells. So really neat thing about Profit Rhino is, as you guys grow and move, this price book can really go wherever you guys go. We can move it with you. And then depending on the service, the level of integration comes way up. Obviously, this is one of our top levels of integration we have with any company. And that really a lot of times depends on what the companies can handle. I know Service Fusion just can't accept all of our images, upsells, cross-sells, or else we'd be able to kind of put it inside like this. We also do this with Field Edge, another big one in the market. Again, the price book will look exactly like it looks in Profit Rhino, and we can have direct API connections there so that information can really be moved instantly for you.
So, if we, going back to the Service Fusion one, if we wanted, we did all the billing and everything, or as much as we wanted to do through Profit Rhino, actually putting the information from the invoice. I know you might have discussed that, but I didn't fully get it. The information from the Rhino invoice, how would that work? How would we get that into Service Fusion?
That's very easy as well. Let's just jump back here. Hopefully it's still open. Basically, we'll give you what we call it a QuickBooks export, but same thing to put in Service Fusion. Basically, all these task numbers will be known here. Service Fusion will know what the best option is under this, so you'll just have to type those in. Some people don't even, again, I want to show you our customer management. A lot of people don't take it that far, and they're simply running the totals through Service Fusion, and then they can see the invoices inside of Profit Rhino. But if you want to put the information in, you'd have to obviously do the task numbers to find the correct products here if you want to re-enter this entire invoice inside of Service Fusion. Again, I think you're going to find that that's really not going to be necessary for you guys to do.
Not a return on investment for that.
Yeah, exactly. And really, once you see how the web portal, we'll jump in that right now, works, you'll really see that that's going to be a bad return on your investment and really just a time-consuming task for the tech or whoever's out there. So. Cool. Any other questions while we're looking at the app here? I think kind of everything you're asking is moving towards the web portal and the management. So I think it's
let's go.
Jump in that and take a look at it. Find it here. Sorry, but I am disorganized by all get out today. It's my last day before vacation, so you know how that goes. Sometimes it's
Awesome.
hard to get all your stuff together.
Hopefully you're going somewhere warmer.
We're in upstate New York. We got 14 inches of snow last night, so.
Yeah, I know if it's cold here, y'all got to be freezing. So that's
Yeah, yep. So, no, we'll be going someplace nice and warm. So this is the web portal here. This is what you guys see when you log in. Obviously, your customers, your techs don't see this stuff. First thing I wanted to show you again is kind of that work order segment here. If we come back here, this is going to show you exactly what's happened in the field all day for you guys. Obviously, everything has a work order number, the date we did it, the customer, the service address won't always be the billing address. We can put multiple service addresses under one customer. Obviously, nice to know the tech that went and did the job. First thing we're going to notice here is the 3 bubbles. This is showing us that we offered 3 options on this job today. We can actually do up to 6 options. So if we offer the customer 6 options, you'll see 6 bubbles. If we offered no options, I have one down here, I had one, you'll see no bubbles down here. Nothing was offered to this customer. Obviously, what they purchased is the one in green. So all we have to do is quick touch that. It's going to pop out and show what we sold. You can also check out the ones they didn't sell. Just kind of make sure your guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing out there. Again, just set up so you can look at this and get a good idea of what happened out there today without running a ton of reports, without spending half an hour trying to figure it out. You can look at here and get a pretty good idea of what's going on. Total, pretty self-explanatory. And then paid. Again, if they paid, we're going to put it in this huge blue box. You can look at this in 2 seconds and see who's paid and who hasn't here. And then we can go right here and email the invoice in 1 click. 2 clicks, customer send email. 2 clicks, invoice the customer directly through email. Or if we want to come in here, we can view these invoices, and then we can print these if you want to mail them as well. So this will show us a PDF again, just like we just did it on the tablet just a few minutes ago. Signatures, everything transfers right over. So again, a really easy way for you guys to manage that stuff. And then, of course, through import-export here, we can move that stuff right into QuickBooks directly. Again, a lot of people are just kind of choosing to use that way just because it's kind of taking a step out of their day, making the back-end stuff a little easier. Obviously, all these categories can be filtered as well, so you can really kind of grind down on this stuff. If you want to see which tech sells the most high options, you can kind of grind down and figure that stuff out. If you click on the customer's name, obviously this will give us all their information, any additional addresses. Again, unlimited the amount of addresses we can put here. Here's a spot we can do internal notes. Techs can put in notes on the tablet that you guys can only be seen, obviously, by the techs and by you guys here in the office. And then invoices. This gives us a complete history of all the times we've gone to this customer's house, what they've purchased, if they owe us money, etc. Really nice way to kind of check and see what you're doing there. Also, you can kind of see other things here. Look at this. This guy buys the most expensive thing almost every time. Maybe you make it just a little bit nicer for him the next time you go. So you can kind of tell that stuff. Always like to put a red flag up here and make sure you guys understand this history here in this part will only start from when you guys have started Profit Rhino. We cannot import the old history in from your QuickBooks or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. Any questions on that work order customer management section?
No, I don't think so.
Very cool. Next is business information. Let's kind of go from the top down here. This is where we're getting all those prices. If we jump inside your plumbing book, you can see you have this billed at $300 an hour. Here is where we have your parts turned up. Your low-cost stuff is marked up very high. As the price comes up, the markup percentage goes down. I'm sure a markup you're extremely familiar with. We can add lines. We can take lines away. We can come in here and open them up. We can do markup percentage as opposed to profit percentage. Sky's the limit. You guys can do whatever you want with your parts. Other really cool thing here, again, this is the $300 an hour. This is what bills off that 50 MPT that we saw. So this is where we're getting that number. And then you can see here we're in the plumbing book at $300 an hour. If I want to jump in your drain cleaning book, I can have this at $290. If I want to jump in your hot water heater, I can have that at $250. All these books will operate independently from each other. So you can have 9 service agreements, 9 tax rates, 9 different parts markups, 9 different bill out rates throughout all these books. You mentioned, you're looking to get an HVAC division going. So you can actually completely bill separately between the two divisions as far as hourly rate. They can all use the same program, looks the same coming out to all the tax. But again, you can have different service agreement rates, different taxes, etc. back there. This is the sales tax over here, pretty self-explanatory. And then as far as making a change, if we want to come in here and change this hot water book, come in here, make it $2.60 an hour, hey, calculate business info. Usually takes between 2 and 10 seconds, depending on the size of the book and your internet connection. That's going to go ahead and change every single task in that hot water heater now at 260. Again, these will be individual from each other. And then the next thing we want to do is have our tablets come in, go to those 3 lines, we hit sync data, check for updates, and we're going to pull that new information in. The reason we're doing this is all cached inside the tablet. So Dustin, if you go out someplace where you don't have service, you're not connected, all your images, pictures, upsells, cross-sells, it's all still there for you guys. You can use it. Obviously, we can't send an email, we can't take a credit card, we can't hit the finance button, but we can do all your pricing. The tablet will cache that information and just send it out next time we hit a connected spot. So really cool there, always important to sync that stuff up. But again, you can see how quickly that went. You can literally do this while you're eating your lunch, 12:05. These guys are charging those new prices, looking at these new pictures, all that stuff. Also, I'll show you this just because you asked. If you're a ServiceTitan customer, after we do calculate business, instead of syncing on our tablet, we're just going to go to the sync button. They'll give us an API key, hit OK, and all that information goes directly into your ServiceTitan tablets. Same idea if you want to switch. If you use us for the next year and then you switch to ServiceTitan, all you got to do is say, Joe, I'm going November 16th, 2019. All we have to do is come in here, hit the button, your price book instantly. So real easy for you guys to do. I shouldn't say instantly the first time. The first time it takes a little bit to load, obviously. The changes usually run just a few seconds.
Okay.
Any questions on this stuff?
The second ago you mentioned putting in like the parts for the taxes. So how for the task, you're trying to figure out how many minutes you're gonna have on the job, and then how much your materials and markup and stuff are gonna be. So what point are you putting in? Are we putting in our materials, and is there like a recommended way to put in just a lump sum for materials, or are we putting in every item, or how does that, I guess, process work?
Let's jump right in and take a look here. This is task, and this is where we have all these set up. Now keep in mind, most of this is already set up for you guys. We're just going to kind of tweak it in that success program. But just quick jump back in that faucet we looked at again. I like to look at the same stuff here so we kind of keep our eyes on the prize. This is where we come in now, and this is where we can change the descriptions. This is where I can change that time, that 50 minutes that we always have assigned here. If I want to move it up and down, I can do that here. This is where the add-on is. So if we make this an add-on, it's going to take 30 minutes of labor away from this task. That's where that change is going to come from. Obviously, I can make that discount larger or smaller by adjusting this time. And then down here are going to be the parts that are included on this job. This one simply has the faucet. You will see miscellaneous on almost every single job. This is your one-off stuff, nuts, bolts, washers, screws, caulk, that kind of stuff. Huge clutter to put in the price book, but it's stuff that costs you guys money. We want something to hold the place, so you just see this miscellaneous here. Now, if you guys are supplying something else, we can come in here and say do a pop-up. If you guys include the pop-up instead of try and upsell it here, you get the idea. It doesn't have to be the right one.
It's pretty customizable.
So exactly. So now you can put a pop-up on here. So next time you guys bring it up, this will always include a pop-up. What I suggest doing is as going up here, and then you'd put, pop-up included. Just so your guy knows in the field, don't sell a pop-up. We'll take the pop-up off the marketing screen. But this is all going to be set up. The point is, so no matter which one of your 3 service guys, if they walk in the same house, look at the same job 3 days in a row, they're all going to leave the same price. And that's, that's really the goal, is that consistency. That's the customer confidence and stuff you guys are looking for.
Yeah, looks good.
Awesome. So let's push through here just a little bit since we're already in here. Next one is calculations, and I think you're going to be a big fan of this. This is going to tell us here what the parts cost is, what we're selling these parts back to the customer for, what the labor is, what we're selling the labor back to the customer for, and depending on which one of these 3 rates, it's going to tell us what we made in dollars or in profit percentage here by doing this job. This is really nice that you know what you're profitable before you go in. You can kind of play with your bill out rates, your parts markups, and see what it's going to do to your prices and your profitability, and make sure you're going to stay where you want to be, but also a good way to make sure you're going to stay super competitive in your market as well. So again, this will just adjust as you change your hourly rate and parts markups. And then down here is going to do the same thing for the add-on. If you do one of those add-on tasks, this is going to show you what your profitability would be then. Again, just to make sure that we're not giving too big of a discount, not going to be losing on that job if we're offering that add-on task for the customer. Next one is categories. This simply tells us where we find it in the book. It's under plumbing, bath, faucet, new. Next one here is marketing, and this is where we can control that stuff that popped up. Here's that shut off pop-up that came up. Here's those 3 faucets that were at the bottom. If we need to add something here, all we have to do is hit add task. We can search it right from the list here. Just hit the plus next to it, and then next time you sync, this backflow would show up. So really easy for you guys to update that stuff. Again, you'll find all the common sense stuff already done, already here for you guys. And then next, Dustin, is images. This is really my favorite part. This is where we can control the images, the pictures that we see in the book. Again, all the images are already here in a generic format. It's up to you how much we want to customize them. Stuff like fixtures, we do really want to customize. So we can download these from any kind of library. We can also download them directly from Google Images. So all you have to do is put in any word, part numbers, stock numbers, anything works just fine. Find the image you like, you just grab it, crop it, upload it, and it goes right in the price book. There you can see we can put a Rhino in the price book in under a second. So really easy for you guys to do that stuff. And then over here is accounting, and this is really going to go ahead and tell us if this job pays commission, yes or no. If it's taxable, yes or no. And then account here is basically what bucket we want it in. So we can put your plumbing in one spot, your hydrojetting in another, your hot water in another. So when we pull this out to send it to QuickBooks, we can kind of send the stuff where we want, have a field we can kind of manage the stuff with here. Any questions on the task section?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Manage book, we skipped, hit that real quick. This is just where we're going to control it. Until you guys have an HVAC division, we'll turn this stuff off so they won't show up on the tablet. Obviously, we can even hit the edit button. We can rename these. If you don't want it called plumbing, we can call it whatever you guys want. We can come into the subcategories and turn these on or off depending on what you guys are doing. The subcategories, you can even come into the actual task level and turn the faucets on and off one by one. So you do control, again, exactly what they see, how they see it. Just depends how deep you want to dive into it. Also really nice, though, if you know this faucet's going to be sold out for the next 3 weeks, you can come here, turn it off so you guys aren't selling it, back ordering it, that kind of thing. So really neat there. And then parts. Parts are parts. Everything is currently on a national average. What we're going to do, again, in that success program we talked about, this is where we're going to hone that parts pricing for you guys. Make sure that we have it correct for where you guys are located. Almost always we can take the list, turn it up a little, down a little, work perfectly for you guys. If we need to pull in new parts lists, we can absolutely do that for you guys. So I don't like to get too hung up on the parts. One thing I do want to show you is this update cost by product line. This is built for copper, refrigerant, if I can type. Things that kind of move a lot for you guys. I can go copper, 4% last week, update it. It's going to update every single piece of copper in this book by 4% in one keystroke, and then price it according to the business information page. So really kind of a game changer as far as the stuff that moves a lot. Aluminum, steel have been doing weird things lately, so we can really move this stuff like that. Also with product lines, if you guys sell Delta faucets, we can put in Delta, move every Delta faucet, sink, toilet that you guys have a certain percentage instead of going into 80 different tasks and changing them all. So really just a nice, easy way to manage that stuff, quality of life kind of thing, and really helps you stay on track with that. You can imagine with that book that you guys have now, if you went through and changed every piece of copper inside of that book, it'd take you probably weeks, and it'd be wrong by the time you finished anyway. So really easy way to do that stuff for you guys here.
So you have parts in there, common parts already inside the system to try to help speed the process up, or?
Exactly. Every part that's attached to the job, when you see the faucets and, if you get into HVAC, your motors, capacitors, absolutely.
But
we have
not
over
miscellaneous parts?
I'm sorry?
So the miscellaneous number that you're coming up with, is that based off of parts that are in the system that are likely grouped together, or is that you're not putting that kind of stuff's not in there in the parts section in your list?
That stuff is not in there in the parts section of our list. That's going to be, again, your one-off stuff, nuts, bolts, caulk, Tef tape, that kind of stuff. And basically, we're just putting like $3-4 on every single task to cover your costs for those small incidentals.
Okay.
Cool. Option boards, almost done here. This is where we're going to see those pre-built option boards. You saw us just jump in that one for the bath. We have a bunch pre-built. You guys can come in here and just kind of modify the ones we've built, just kind of tweak them a little bit to make them exactly what you guys want. Also, Dustin, you have the ability to come in here and just build option boards from scratch from your laptop anytime you guys want to. So you have the ability to make all the option boards that your techs are going to take out in the field and use to sell and upsell, cross-sell. You can build those here, make them live in the team board list. Next tab here is tech option list. This is going to show you anytime a tech builds an option that doesn't come from the team board list. If he builds a custom option for a customer, or again, just doesn't build something out of that list, it's going to show up here. It's going to say Dustin built these, Joe built these, etc. Two reasons. First one, to make sure these guys are doing what they're supposed to and building good options. The second one is sometimes you just get somebody who's really good at this. They build really good options. They sell lots of better and best stuff. You can come in here, see those options, and then share them with the other two guys on the system. Hope that they start, generating those higher sales and making those nice options. And then last is option mask list. And this truly is going to be what we can call these options. Good, better, best, critical, recommended, like new. Again, we can do up to 6. You can call them whatever you want. Be as creative as you want. Sky's the limit here. So this is where you can kind of create those masks or those names for the options. And then the last thing we have here is import export, and this is where we're just going to do all the reporting. QuickBooks 1 is your desktop, QuickBooks 2 is online. We can pull reports out by trade, by parts, by tasks. So we'll pull your customer information in. We can actually import task information that you already have now through Excel. Also, if we need to pull parts list in, which probably we'll have to, if you go to HVAC for new equipment, we'll have to pull those parts in. Again, everything here is done through Excel, which really makes it easy to just kind of move stuff back and forth in and out of the system for you guys. But again, this is where we're going to do all the importing, all the reporting, all the fun stuff you do in the evening that you wish you were.
All right.
And really, Dustin, that's all I got for you today. Again, do a quick pause for questions. If not, I just want to talk about success a little bit again. We'll talk about the pricing, the difference between ServiceTitan pricing and Profit Rhino, and then I will get you on your day.
Yeah, I guess the financing from earlier, when you brought that up, I couldn't remember if you said that our system that we currently use, which we're perfectly okay with switching, it syncs up, I guess, but does it know in the does it pop up before the monthly payment options pop up before you trigger it somehow once it's synced up?
What that's going to do, it just goes off an average of whatever finance company that you guys use. It kicks out a number based on, I think, 36 months. That can be set, though, so we can set it there, but it's always just giving, again, some kind of ballpark figure.
So it's going to be there, and then they can see if they ask about it. Then you get into the app and see what it's really
exactly.
Okay.
You tell them this is a ballpark. You have to apply to see what your rate, what your payment's going to be. At that time, if they want, you can push the button. Hand the tablet to them, let them fill it out, and they're going to get a decision in about a minute or so.
And yeah, so from your experience, when you're using the apps for those services, because we're not using the apps currently. The guys have iPads, and we have Synchrony but for some reason, and I don't know the details because I don't deal with it, but if the customer doesn't have the money and they ask for financing, they trigger it. The tech calls the office like prints out some documents or something, and it's a mess. So from your experience, a good financing company it's going to get approval right there from an app. That's correct?
That's correct. And definitely, if you guys are having issues, let's get with Synchrony. I have several companies that use them. They're probably one of the more popular companies, and
Yeah,
they basically have a web landing page. Like instead of you guys putting in the office, you could probably even give them this web page address where it's
yeah.
specifically designed. It's probably even branded for Choice Plumbers, so it looks like they're applying financing for you. We're just going to jump to that page, let them apply through the tablet. Really, we've got some awesome feedback with that. Probably more on the HVAC side where they're selling, home comfort systems and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I've heard housewives, impulse buying $12,000 home comfort systems just because she got financed, paid for it before her husband got home. So that kind of stuff is really cool if you can get those hits now and again.
Until he comes home, so it might be good. But
Yeah, you don't want to come home to that, neither do I, right?
so yeah, I'd be interested in that cost difference of Service Fusion to Service Titan because that's something that we're looking into currently.
Perfect. So we hit this. Again, keep in mind, all this training is ongoing as long as you guys are customers. We will train your back office staff, whether it's going to be you or you have an office manager who's going to control this book. We'll teach you how to change the pictures, the pricing, do all that stuff. We'll also train your techs. If they use these upsells and cross-sells and options, they will make more money in the field. Always the wild card. So we like to make sure we get a good base on the training with the tech. Sorry about that. And then lastly, the pricing. I'm sure you've seen this, 55 a user. I'd like to be very clear, a user is just a tech in the field generating invoices. So you mentioned you're really going to have 3 service guys. You're looking at $165 a month. Your office staff, support staff, they can log into the web portal. They can change prices. There's no charge. Again, we only charge techs in the field with the tablets. We have the success training, which we talked about again, $1,299, really to cover our costs of building you guys a custom price book. We do that because we don't do any contracts. This is a month-to-month service from day one. You guys can cancel at any time. We really feel like we provide a very good service at an extremely reasonable price. You're in service, you can't make everybody happy all the time. You don't feel that way again. No contracts. So again, we charge the upfront to kind of cover our bases there. And then if you guys went to Service Titan, the only difference you're looking at is the monthly. The one time is the same. And also if you pay it now and switch to Service Titan later, you don't ever have to pay it again. Again, it's truly a one time to just build the book for you guys. But Service Titan, Field Edge, wherever else you take it, it's a flat $189 a month per company. So that's unlimited techs, unlimited office staff. If you have 200 techs, 500 people in the office, it's still $189 a month because we're just really doing a data dump for you guys. So the price isn't a ton different as far as you're looking at Profit Rhino. The big difference you're probably going to see is between Service Fusion and Service Titan.
So you were saying that it's $189 per month for the more for Service Titan plus the 55 per user per tech?
Nope. It's just a flat $189 a month for the entire company. There's no per tech charge. You're only paying per tech if you're using our standalone app.
Okay, so after 4 users, we've already bypassed the.
After 4 users, it's going to be cheaper for Profit Rhino. Again, it'll be cheaper to be on Service Titan. Service Titan licenses are a whole nother story for you guys.
They're expensive, yeah.
They're expensive, but I'll be honest with you, as someone who really has no skin in the game, I'll sell it to any FSM. They're worth the money. If you got the money, do it. It's truly the Cadillac of what's out there right now.
Alrighty. So yeah, that's good to know it'd be less. And so I think that that was where was I at with that 3 service techs, and then you're having a whole separate book. It looks like for drain cleaning.
We do, yeah. And my whole computer just went black for some reason too. Not sure why PowerPoint just crashed, but there we go. So yeah, no, absolutely. We can dig into that too. So we do absolutely have a drain cleaning book as well. And this is, again, we're going to ask ourselves a few quick questions. We do an in the house, your sewer line stuff, your camera, your grease trap, your hydro jet. We come in here. This is basically, kitchen sink stops, that kind of stuff here. Your chemical treatments, kind of say your drinking fountain stoppages, easy stuff. Really cool. All these are going to have these diagrams. Really cool when you're doing the job to just kind of explain this stuff to the customer, especially when you're doing all these drain cleanings and snaking. So neat stuff there. If we jump in the grease trap and the hydro jet, we split it between roof and storm, and then your grease trap here. Again, your sewer lines, your drains. Find your root stops and stuff in here somewhere. Roof and storm drains, really pretty much the same thing.
So if we go out and we have a standard stoppage call, which right now it seems like what we're gearing towards is the competition's steep on that, and plus for us where we're at, we can get a guy limited drain cleaning license right off the street, but it takes a couple years to make a plumber for a license, and so it's just a good way to try to get someone in the door and see how good they're going to fit into the trade, I guess. And so, that's priced a little lower for us, but a certain percentage of those, they got an issue for a reason. We're doing the camera scope, and then we're going to sell a tunnel job down here. We tunnel under the slabs, stuff like that, or a new sewer line. So how does that relay? Like, how would the drain tech, sell once he figured out what was wrong with the line in this system, sell like a tunnel job for us, for example?
It'd be real easy. It's like we'd come in here, and this is probably the bad drain stop to get into. But what we do is we'll put them on these. We'll put them on those pop-ups, those recommended services. So it's always going to prompt him to sell. If he's doing this, remind him that we might want to do this.
Go.
Try to upsell to this.
Completely customizable for us to do that. What we run into the most.
Exactly. So every time you do this, 95% of the time you want to do this next. Absolutely. Let's let's set that up that way. So let's just jump in here.
And if that tech sold the job and I want to give him a percentage of it, does this app kind of give us something we could pull a report off of that, or is that something that is going to make it that much better to have certain Service Titan with it, or?
We're going to do it not as good as Service Titan. We can mark here if this job pays commission, yes or no. So you can run a report and say, Dustin had 6 jobs that pay commission. Joe has 5 jobs that pay commission. We don't have a spot to put a dollar amount. So you're going to have to find out what Dustin's 6 jobs were, what Joe's 5 jobs were, and what the dollar amount is, unless you just have a flat fee. If they upsell something, they get $25, and you can run it through easy and see, one guy had 6, one guy had 5. So we're going to be able to see that they sold them, not the dollar amount. Service Titan will take that to the next level and really be able to tell you just at the end of the week, I owe Dustin $216.
And the level of integration from your 2 services, there shouldn't be any additional work that's needed. That's just pull the report and it's done.
Exactly. And truly, when you guys switch, it's literally just hitting that button. All that stuff's in there. They'll recognize our parts and your inventory, and all that stuff will marry together very easily.
Okay.
Cool. So again, this is where we're going to put that. And then here's your camera inspection. It's actually already set up right here. We're going to recommend the drain treatment and the camera inspection. So kind of already in there for you guys. Cool stuff. Anything else you want to jump in here and take a quick look at before I let you go?
No, I think that's a lot of information for me to process already. But yeah, it looks good. It's kind of what I was expecting, maybe better. So that's a good thing. So now that I think we mentioned the setup and the pricing, and you said there's discounts available, I guess, through Roundtable maybe. And is there anything additional that we could do to incentivize the setup on the setup fee?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not big on the negotiation dance. What kind of time frame are you looking to get it done? I mean, you want to get on this schedule and get something going, soon, or are we looking at a few weeks out?
I'd like to say I'm the boss, but I'm not, like, how that is, I guess.
I know we all have one more boss.
Yeah, so I gotta go back and say, hey, this is what it does. Get hammered with all the questions, and hopefully I can relay those, answer those questions as good as you do for me, and try not to have to set up another meeting or something. But yeah, if it all goes well, I'm pushing. I'm tired of where we're at. I've been tired of it for a couple of years, so I'll be pushing to start it as soon as possible. But yeah, I do got to make that sales somewhere else.
I'll be very transparent with you here. I can actually take this down as far as $7.99. I get a limited number. I can offer a month. That's just kind of how we have things set up here. So, if you guys are looking to get that trigger pulled and kind of do it soon, we can do that. Again, just to be transparent, I'm going to be out next week, so I've been kind of offering it a bit liberally this month, since obviously I'm going to be missing a huge chunk. So really, that's kind of where I stand with it. I'll get a new batch to do it next month. If that doesn't work for you guys, but that's really kind of where we're sitting on it. So, if you guys want to get the ball moving soon, we could definitely probably get that down to $7.99. Again, another thing they let me do, which might help you guys out, is split that into 3 equal payments. So, we can do a third of it, today, a third of it December 16th, a third of it January 16th for you guys as well. Again, if that kind of helps, take the sting out of it a bit for you guys.
Yeah, no, that all helps for sure. So, and no, the management software is a bigger task, I think, to try to switch, but there's no extra cost, none of that stuff, I guess, if we switch later on.
Correct. No, and I'll actually, since the PowerPoint failed, I'll bring that one up here. You can see it's the same $12.99. Again, you kind of saw this book looks identical. We're literally taking the book we built and just moving it somewhere else. So you've already paid for that customization. We're just moving it over, and then you go to the new billing cycle or style, whatever you want to call it.
So once we're ready, what do we do next?
Once you're ready, really best thing is to reach out to me here. Again, I'm going to be out next week. I'm monitoring my email all week. The salesman never really gets a true week off, so probably email next week. Or if you guys really want to get the ball rolling, I'm going to know what we talked about in your account as far as price. You can call the main number on our website. One of the other guys in here is going to be kind of pick up the slack for me, so you can call that number and they can get you set up as well. Again, or shoot me an email. I'll be reaching out while I'm on vacation as well.
So from the initial let's get going phone call to getting started with the process, how long does that take?
We can take a look at that right now. We're actually getting a little booked, especially with the holiday. Right now, if we were to sign up this very minute, the first appointment I have for you guys is not going to be till Wednesday the 28th to get that first meeting of that 4-week success program started. So again, we're 5 to 7 business days out on that first meeting right now.
Okay. And then after that, I think you told me it was a 4-week process.
It runs about 4 weeks. That's the average, and that's just going to depend. If you're the kind of person who needs to rewrite every description, change every picture, obviously that's going to take a bit longer. We usually count in that time to build a new install book for HVAC companies. You don't have that, so that can take some time away. But again, the average is always about 4 weeks. And then keep in mind a big factor in that is just your availability. The meeting schedule is tight, so sometimes if you miss a meeting, it's going to push everything back, 3 to 5 business days.
Okay. Yeah, no, it all sounds good to me. So let me just see what I can do on the other end of things, and hopefully get back in touch with you pretty quick. I guess there's one more thing. I guess is trying to relay some of this information. Is there a better source of showing the other people in the office more things that the platform will do than just what you have on your website?
If you have just a little bit, I actually have a private YouTube channel. Our meeting today was recorded. I can upload that to my private channel, send you the recording, and you can have a full recording of our meeting today.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Just obviously that email was good because you found the meeting, so perfect. I'll get that going here. Obviously, it takes 10, 15 minutes to get uploaded and whatnot, but I'll shoot that right over. Also, I'll include the pricing slide here for you as well. I'll include this training slide as well, so you guys have that. Take it to the boss, and we can kind of show them what we're going to do and look for as far as process. And then just reach out, let me know. Again, I'm here all weekend. I'll be monitoring everything through Monday, so just let me know, and we can get you guys set up, get you on the calendar, and get the ball rolling for you.
Okay, I appreciate you, man.
Hey, no problem at all, Dustin. You have a great day. And if I don't talk to you next week, have a nice Thanksgiving.
Okay, you too.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.